sure you won't have another steak?
No, thank you, Ben. Thank you kindly. 3's about my limit for lunch.
You know, Jake, you don't eat as hearty as you used to.
That's the truth, Ben. That's the truth. Maybe it's the heat. I don't recall a hot spell as bad as this in the last 40 years.
Yeah, it sure is a rough one. Now, Jake, about the renewal of our agreement on the water rights. I had Ira Minton draw up the contract as usual.
Lawyers come pretty high these days, Ben. You paying the bill?
Yeah, as usual. Now, for your protection now, Jake, I want you to go over that contract with Ira.
I intend to do just that, Ben, as long as you're paying the bill.
As usual.
Howdy, Jake.
Howdy, boys. Yes, sir. Sure is a pleasure seeing you, Ben. Even though it is only once a year.
Well, it's a pleasure seeing you, too, Jake. You know, we're very grateful for the water rights that we get from you. Ponderosa sure needs plenty of water.
Hey, Jake, aren't you kind of hot in that black suit?
Nope. Black keeps the sun out. You boys ought to know that. Didn't they teach you anything in school? Now, Ben, as long as I'm here, wonder if you advise me on something.
Well, I will if I can.
Well, the thing is, I've decided to make out my will.
What's the matter, Jake? Ain't you feeling too well?
I'm feeling fine.
Well, what's all the concern about a will?
Don't you think a 92-year-old man ought to have his affairs in order?
If you're feeling fine.
I was till I got here. But danged if it don't look like I'm about to be talked to death.
Just trying to help, Jake. Just trying to help.
Now, Ben, would you be kind enough to tell me how to go about making out a will?
Oh, Jake, I think you ought to see a lawyer about that. Oh, look, you're going to stop over and see Ira Minton about the water agreement. Why don't you ask him?
Hey, maybe you got an idea there, Ben. As long as I'm seeing Ira about these here papers, why don't you just add the will making to the bill?
All right, Jake. That's the way you want it.
It's a right smart thought you had there, Ben. I'm much obliged.
Oh, here, let me help you.
Let me alone. I'm all right.
Jake! Jake! Let's get him in the house, Paul.
Yeah.
No time for that, Hoss. There's no time for nothing now. Not even making out my will.
Are you gonna be all right, Jake? The heat got to you a little bit, that's all.
No. Feels like my head split wide open. Ben,
I'm right here, Jake.
I want everything I got to go to my next of kin. Will you see to it?
I give you my word, Jake. You'll be all right.
Thanks. Much obliged to you.
Jake, who's your next of kin? Jake, who is your next of kin?
Meredith Smith.
Did you say Meredith Smith?
That's right. Ben, see to it. Meredith Smith gets everything I got.
can't be serious.
I was never more serious in my life. According to these, I judge that Jake Smith's holdings amount to well over $160,000.
$160,000?
Well, this is his title to acreage in Texas. These are shares in a thriving copper mine in Montana. And this is part interest, a generous part interest, in a freight line running out of Oklahoma into New Mexico. Yes, I'd say that Jake did all right by himself in his short 92 years.
When I think of the steaks I fed that man over the past 15 years.
You know, maybe that's why he was able to accumulate as much as he did.
True. What do I do with those papers, Ira?
Well, since you're the executor of the estate...
No, wait a minute. Who says I'm the executor of his estate?
Well, he appointed you with his dying breath. Both your sons were witnesses. That makes you the executor, whether you like it or not.
Well, I don't like it.
Well, nevertheless, that's the law. Now, your first job is to find old Jake's heir, or heirs. He did name one, didn't he?
Yeah, Meredith Smith, whoever that may be.
Well, then go find Meredith Smith.
Oh, wait a minute. How do I go about doing that?
Well, the simplest way is to advertise. Put notices in all the legal columns of every newspaper.
Oh.
You've got 6 months.
Why 6 months?
It's the law. It's designed to protect the estate against any false claims made by possible debtors.
Oh, I see.
I'll bill you for all this, of course.
Of course.
Still nothing, huh?
Nothing. For 6 months, nothing. Nobody's even made a claim against the estate.
Well, I wonder why that Meredith Smith hasn't answered the notice you put in the paper.
Oh, I've been wondering that for 6 months.
Well, at least we got till tomorrow.
Sure. And after that, everything reverts back to the territory of Nevada, including the water rights.
Yeah, we gotta have water. Hey, what about that creek over on the Harris place?
I talked to Mr. Harris about that. Water there's so low, he hasn't any to spare for us.
Guess we'll just have to hope Meredith Smith shows up.
That's a pretty hopeless thought, isn't it?
That's him, coming down the street there with his son.
Which place? Mr. Ben Cartwright.
That's right.
I'm Meredith Smith.
Well, it sure is good to meet you, Mr. Smith. This is my son, Joseph. Joseph, this is Meredith Smith. We've been waiting to meet you. You've come to claim Jake's estate.
Yes, sir, I did. Poor Uncle Jake.
Jake was your uncle?
Yes, sir, he was. And as fine a man as ever lived. Did he leave much?
Oh, he left a tidy sum. As a matter of fact, I guess you'll be able to get along all right if you don't chew too much tobacco.
How's that, sir?
Oh, I was just trying to make a joke. Oh, no, he left a goodly amount. Of course, as you know by my advertisement in the paper, you can't claim it until after tomorrow.
Well, yes, sir, I read that piece in the paper, but how come I can't get it till tomorrow?
Oh, it's just a technicality, you see. Just a technicality. See, we have to wait a full 6 months just to make sure there aren't any creditors' claims.
I see.
Tomorrow's the last day. Mr. Smith, why don't you go over to that hotel there? It's a very fine place. You just rent yourself a room and charge it to my account.
Well, that's very nice of you, Mr. Cartwright. I'll be there when you need me.
Well, it's sure good to see you, Mr. Smith. Sure good to see you. Looking forward to it.
It was awful nice of you taking care of the room like that.
Well, son, a little politicking doesn't hurt. He owns the water rights.
Where can I find Mr. Ben Cartwright? Mr. Ben Cartwright.
Ma'am?
I'm glad to meet you. I'm Meredith Smith.
Did you say Meredith Smith?
Well, I'd say it's an improvement.
Ma'am, this is my son, Joseph, Miss Smith.
How do you do?
It's my pleasure, ma'am.
Well, let me take your suitcase, Miss Smith, and Joseph, I'll take Miss Smith over to the hotel and get her settled, and I'll meet you later at the saloon, folks.
Sure you don't want me to help you, Pa?
No, I'm fine. This young lady would like a room in your hotel.
Certainly, Mr. Cartwright.
Meredith Smith, put that big cowboy.
Mr. Potts, just make sure that this young lady has one of your best rooms. She's my guest.
Anything you say, Mr. Cartwright.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
It's a pleasure, Miss Smith.
What do you think, Pa?
Well, obviously, one of them is a fraud. The question is, which one?
Yeah. You know, I hope it's not the girl. She's pretty good looking.
Right.
Nothing, I just got a hunch. You don't suppose...
No. Don't say it. I think you may be right.
Mr. Ben Cartwright?
Mr. Meredith Smith.
Well, how did you know that?
Oh, we've been expecting you.
Oh.
But I'm afraid the Smith estate won't be settled until sometime tomorrow.
Well, I'm in no hurry, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, well, that's good. You'll find that the hotel at the corner is a very nice place to stay. You just tell the clerk that you're my guest.
Well, thank you very much. Until tomorrow, then?
Until tomorrow.
Paul, you'll never guess in your whole life who this is.
Meredith Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd you know that?
Oh, Pa's very quick to catch on.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Smith.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Cartwright.
I presume you've come about the estate.
Oh, yes.
Well, it'll take a day or two before everything can be straightened out.
Oh, I understand. Legal matters have a way of getting complicated.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much until now. I guess you two boys have plenty to keep you busy. I'll take Mr. Smith over to the hotel and get him straightened out. Come along, Mr. Smith.
Hey, Joe, what's going on around here anyhow?
I'll see if I told you, you wouldn't believe it.
Look here, Mr. Cartwright, just what do you think you're doing?
Well, for one thing, I'm creating a small boom in the hotel business all by myself. Now, Mr. Smith is going to register as my guest in this hotel, so just give him a pen. That's fine.
Oh, there you are. I'd like you to meet my pa, Ben Cartwright, Mrs. Smith. Yeah, Mrs. Smith just came in on the California stage.
Mrs. Meredith Smith.
Yes. It was so thoughtful of you to send your son to meet me.
Yes, he's a great help. Where's your brother Horse?
Oh, he went back to the Ponderosa. He told me to remind you we still have a ranch to run.
Yes, I hope so. Yes. Well, Mrs. Smith, would you like to register? Mr. Potts, this lady is going to register here as my guest in this hotel.
have a beer, Cosmo.
Yeah, I'll make it two. This thing has really turned into a problem, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we deserve a beer.
You know, I was just thinking, though. All right, suppose Jake's land goes to the territory of Nevada. Now, why can't we get the water rights from them?
Oh, I wish it were that easy. If the land goes back to the territory of Nevada, it goes up for auction. Everybody knows we want the water rights, so the price goes sky high. We've got to find the rightful heir before the time is up. Drink hearty.
What's Brother Hoss doing back in town?
Hoss, what are you doing back here?
Oh, Paul, on the way to the Ponderosa a while ago, I run into a fella looking for you.
Oh, what do you want?
Well, he says his name's Meredith Smith.
Another one?
Yep.
Well, where's he?
Well, he's sort of bashful. He's standing over here at the door.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Mr. Smith, this is my Paul, Ben Cartwright.
Meredith Smith, most honorable sir.
And I'm telling you, the whole idea is preposterous.
Not at all. I'm Mr. Cartwright's guest, ain't I?
Excuse me, Mr. Potts? What seems to be the trouble?
This gentleman here wishes me to pay for his barbershop services and put it on your bill.
Well, after all, the gentleman is my guest.
Much obliged. Oh, don't forget to tip. I'm a big tipper.
Big tipper. Big show-off, if you ask me. Here you go. Now, just how much of this do you intend to stand for?
Oh, well, Mr. Potts.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Cartwright. I've had so much fun just buying a few things. Why, Virginia City has quite a nice collection of shops for a town this size.
Yeah, yes, it has a...
Oh, I charged into my hotel bill. You don't mind, do you?
Oh, no, of course not. An heiress can't be expected to wear just anything.
Oh, well, you're absolutely right.
It's very pretty.
Oh, of course, I'll reimburse you when the estate is settled.
Oh, of course.
You are a dear. An absolute dear.
Thank you. Just add these to the others, Mr. Potts.
Anything you say, Mr. Cartwright. But I must say...
Don't.
Good morning, Mr. Cartwright. Lovely day, isn't it?
Yes, it's a lovely day.
I've been out buying a few things, and since I'm a little short of cash, just until the estate is settled, of course,
Sure.
I thought that,
You might want to charge these to your hotel bill.
Yes, how did you know?
Oh, I just sort of guessed.
It isn't very much, really. A few bottles of Dr. Wisdom's Wonder Tonic, 5 pounds of cloves, and a few fresh coffee beans. You see, I'm bothered with a little stomach trouble.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mrs. Smith. I really am.
Well, ta-ta. I have a lot to take care of. Just thinking about all that money is giving me a case of indigestion.
5 pounds of cloves?
Better prepare yourself, Mr. Cartwright.
Ah, present from Mr. Cartwright. Thank you, honorable sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, what did I buy?
8 pounds lychee nuts, 6 stuffed water lilies, ginger powdered coconut, 7 jellyfish, and a dried squid.
No shark fin?
Callie.
Don't call me Callie.
Well, all right. If I don't call you Callie, what do I call you?
I don't want you to call me anything. I don't want you to even speak to me.
Now, look, what are you doing here?
I'd say that wasn't any of y'all business.
I asked you to stay in Abilene. I told you I'd be back for you as soon as I had enough money for us to get married. Now, why didn't you wait for me?
I got tired of waiting.
Honey, you know I love you.
Well, you said that before, too. Now, why should I believe you now? Now, let me go.
Not until you tell me what you're doing here. Callie! Callie!
Oh, my goodness. I thought this was my room.
Oh, that's all right, dearie. Come right on in.
You must think. Oh, dear.
Oh, I never could tell one hall door from another myself. Set a spell.
Thank you. I don't believe I better.
You going somewhere?
No. As a matter of fact, I just came in. I've got a dreadful headache, and I went out to get something for it.
Oh, then you should have come here in the first place. I got just the thing for you.
Just the thing for me?
Here you are. Take a good long swallow.
Dr. Wisdom's Wonder Tonic?
You'll wonder how you ever got along without it.
I'm a bit cautious about taking strange medicine.
Oh, so am I. But you don't need to worry about this one. As a matter of fact, I feel a little headache coming on myself. I'll take one with you. That wasn't so bad, was it?
It's warming, isn't it?
You noticed that? Mm-hmm. It's the sure sign of a quick cure. Mm-hmm. Reckon I ought to have another one just to keep you company.
Mrs. Smith, you're a kind, thoughtful woman.
Oh, it's sweet of you to say so.
It is warming. It's very nice of you to share it with me.
It's the least I can do for a friend.
You consider me a friend?
Certainly.
Well, I don't usually make friends easily.
An interesting man like you. I never would have known it.
In fact, at times, I get quite lonely.
Being a widow's lonely, too. Are you feeling better?
Considerably. Oh. Do you suppose that I need another?
You oughtn't to take a chance.
Ladies first. That was a good one. Do you want another one?
Oh.
Come on.
Wait, Callie.
Now what?
I just found out what you're doing here.
I'm doing the same thing you're doing.
No, with me it's different.
Sure it is. You want to get rid of everybody else so you can have it all for yourself.
Callie, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble.
You're trying to scare me off so your chances will be better. That's what it boils down to, isn't it?
Callie, you know I'm in love with you. And I just can't stand the thought of you ending up behind prison bars. Now, what do I have to say to convince you that you're making a terrible mistake?
There's nothing you can say. Now, I'm not going back to that saloon. And when I get that money, I'm going to Europe and study music like I always planned. Now, if you want better odds, Mr. Gambler, you go talk somebody else into quitting.
And when old Jake died, I promised to see to it that his heir would get all the property that old Jake left. Now, up until yesterday, I didn't have any luck at all locating an heir. Now, today, I got more luck than I need.
Explain, please. We are all Meredith Smiths.
Ah, so. Nice big family.
Now, how do you account for the fact that all of you are named Meredith Smith?
Well, that's an old family name, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, I see. You know, I had a meeting with Sheriff Coffey this morning, and we were going through some posters, and just by chance, you might say, we came across this poster. How do you account for the fact that the name under this picture of you is John Swanson, also known as Snake Oil Swanson, one of the slickest con men of the West?
Well, you'll notice, Mr. Cartwright, that poster doesn't say wanted. It says warning.
Well, that's true. But a charge of attempted fraud can change the wording.
Well, let's not be hasty about this. Let's just say that I made an error in judgment, and why don't we forget the whole thing?
Well, all right, I don't mind that. On one condition, that you leave Virginia City immediately.
Of course. Pity, we might have made a lovely family.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I ought to tell you that attempted fraud, or fraud of any kind, is a crime punishable by law. Now, is there anybody else that might like to confess to an error in judgment? Very well, then I guess the next thing we ought to do is find out what kin you all were to Jake, and what you have to prove it. And we'll start with you.
Well, here is my family Bible with my name, and date of birth.
Yeah. And where were you born?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. And what relationship did you have with Jake?
Would you repeat the question?
Well, what kin were you of Jake's?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We never lived near any of our relatives.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you.
I beg your pardon.
Miss Smith?
He was my grandpa, but I never expected to have my word doubted.
Well, just trying to get things straight, Miss Smith. Mr. Smith?
I was his grandson. But I'm afraid you'll just have to take my word for it.
Mrs. Smith?
Here's my marriage certificate, Mr. Cartwright. He was a fine man.
Yes. Well, I guess that leaves you.
I son.
His son?
Adopted son.
Oh.
Papers say so. Oh.
Well, it's in Chinese.
Why not? I Chinese.
Oh. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take everything that you've told me into consideration, and I'll be in touch with all of you just as soon as I possibly can be. Thank you.
Well, I think that we should talk this over.
There's nothing to talk about. I stand pat.
I have nothing to lose.
Neither have I.
Same like rest family.
Good morning, Chenlu.
Morning, Mr. Cartwright.
Morning.
Now, sure day. Tuesday, sure day.
I didn't forget. That's not why I came in. You can read Chinese, can't you?
Yes, but not all ancient scholars.
Well, I don't think this was written by an ancient scholar. It's a legal document.
But I do.
Well, you didn't do anything. I just want you to read it.
Oh, better. More better. Not have glasses. Need glasses. You see them?
No, but, well, I'll help you look for them. Don't seem to be around.
Crazy woman all the time, clean and high glasses. Where's my glasses? I find. You not have to yell. Crazy woman yell all the time. Ooh.
That's a pretty legal document, isn't it?
Plenty, Rico. Official.
Oh, official. Well, what does it say?
License to hunt snakes. Aya.
Morning, Cal.
Oh, hi, Ben. What can I do for you?
Well, I was hoping you'd be able to tell me something about this paper.
I'll do the best I can. Just a minute while I get my magnifying glass. That fool thing go. I had it just a minute ago.
Cal? Try your pocket.
Pocket?
Yeah.
Now, how did you know?
Figured.
Where's the paper? Meredith Crane and Jacob Smith. Now, does this belong to that woman that's been claiming she's old Jake's widow?
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping you might be able to clear the matter up for me.
Well, maybe we can.
What is it?
Watermarks. Watermarks. Now, hold it up the light. Hey, there up in the left-hand corner.
Yeah? What about it?
Well, it means that 20 years ago, when this certificate was dated, that paper manufacturing company wasn't even in business.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Is that a fact? Come here. Hey, what about this Bible?
Huh? Well, that's hard to say. Seems real enough.
Look at it through the glass.
Huh?
Any way you can be sure?
Well, I reckon I can compare the paper in this Bible with an old one I have at home.
Oh, I'd appreciate that. Would you do that, Cal?
Of course, Ben. Anything I can do to help.
Thank you, Cal. I think I know of a grieving widow who may need some help.
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Smith?
Jake Smith was a very lucky man.
Who?
Your husband.
I haven't got a husband.
When he was alive, I mean.
Who?
Your husband.
I just told you. I never had a husband.
Aren't you a widow?
Certainly I'm a widow.
But I'm afraid I don't understand.
Nothing complicated about it. Widowing's my business.
Your business?
Yes, you dear, sweet little man. Have another clove.
Oh.
You see, when I hear somebody's looking for an heir, I show up as the widow.
You do? Oh. Why?
Don't you see? If nobody else shows up, then I inherit the boodle.
Oh, my goodness. Isn't that wrong?
Of course not, you dear, sweet little man. Look at the trouble I save everybody. They can all stop looking and have peace of mind. And of course, I always see that the money is put to good use. Why, just oodles of people sleep better nights because of me.
That is the most noble humanitarian thing I ever heard in my whole life. You are absolutely the most thoughtful, wonderful person I've ever met in my whole life.
Oh, you sweet, adorable little man. I can't understand how no woman ever claimed you for her husband.
May I have another clove?
Mr. Smith.
Miss Smith. Get you go.
Oh. Come along. Now, sit down right here, young man. Now, what is your name?
Meredith.
No. What is your real name, your Chinese name?
Chow.
What?
Chow, like.
No, never mind. Now, look. Chow, I had a friend of mine read this paper which you gave me. I don't think you should expect to inherit anything from the Jake Smith estate.
So.
Aren't you disappointed? Is that all you have to say?
Confucius say, win some, lose some. You have wife honorable, sir.
No, but what has that got to do with what we're talking about?
Chow, #1 houseboy.
Oh, well, Chow, I don't need a houseboy.
Cook, clean, sew button.
Like I said, I don't need one.
How you know till you try. Have references.
Well, now, Chow, they're in Chinese.
Why not? I Chinese. #1, references.
Oh, what?
Good afternoon, Mr. Cartwright.
Potts, I'd like you to do me a favor.
Certainly.
Is Miss Meredith Smith in?
As far as I know, I didn't see her go out.
Would you tell her to come down to the lobby? I'd like to talk to her.
I don't have to tell her. Here she comes now.
Remember, all you have to do is just look at her and see if you recognize her.
All right, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, Miss Smith.
Oh, hello, Mr. Cartwright.
Hi.
How are you today?
Oh, just fine. Miss Smith, I'd like you to meet Mr. Ozzie Flint from Abilene. Well, that's where you're from, isn't it?
Oh, sure, I know her, Mr. Cartwright. That's Callie Martin. Used to sing at the Red Dog Saloon. Howdy, honey.
Callie, this was bound to happen.
You let me go.
Not yet.
Are you sure you're not making any mistake?
Oh, no, not in a million years, Mr. Cartwright. That's her, all right. And I know that feller she's with. A gambler named Ace in the Hole Jones.
You dirty skunk, will you let me go?
Oh!
Mr. Cartwright, if you don't need me no more, I'd just as lief go while I'm still able.
You go ahead. Thank you, Ozzie. Thank you for your help.
From now on, I don't know nobody.
Oh, what are you going to do now? Try and swindle somebody else?
Callie, I'm no swindler. You know better than that. Now, what do I have to do to convince you?
Chow, what are you doing?
I #1 bellboy, too.
Bellboy?
Yes, business has been so good lately, I had to put on help.
I have job now. Make plenty money.
I can now stay America. No need go back Hong Kong.
Mr. Cartwright?
Yes, Mrs. Smith.
I'm leaving immediately.
Does that mean that you're relinquishing your claim to the Jake Smith estate?
It does. Mr. Smith here and I have just been united in the holy bonds of matrimony, and I have no intention of working on my honeymoon.
Working on... Well, congratulations to both of you. Mr. Smith, are you leaving too?
With my beautiful bride.
Well, you know, this Bible, it's authentic.
Of course. May I have my Bible, please?
Well, yes, of course.
As a matter of fact, I knew all along I was not related to Jake Smith. Now I can retire and let you go on snatching the boodle.
What?
Let's get out of here while the getting's good.
Yes, you marvelous, wonderful man.
Well, I hope they'll be very happy with each other. Well, that leaves me with two discredited heirs.
No, only one. You see, old Jake Smith really was my grandfather. You know that ranch he would never leave? Well, it was located on the south bank of Willow Creek.
Yeah, well, anybody could have found that out.
You're a hard man to convince, Mr. Cartwright. Well, let me see. Oh, I remember something about a copper mine that he owned in Idaho. No, Montana. And when I was a little guy, I took a ride from Oklahoma City to New Mexico on a freight line that he was part owner in. And the last time I saw him, he was just getting ready to buy some land to run cattle on down in Texas. Oh, one more thing. He could put away more steak than any man I ever met.
That does it. By golly, you are the fella. Meredith Smith, I've been looking for you for 6 months. I'm going to turn that estate over to you right now.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
Then you really are.
Yes, I really am. Callie, you wouldn't want me to live on that big ranch all alone, would you?
My name's Betsy. Betsy Hackenbush.
Mine's Jake, honey. Jake Smith, just like my grandfather's. My middle name was Meredith.
I don't think I'll have any trouble remembering that name.
One more thing. You know, I just can't see you moving off to Europe to study music.
Well, then, I'll just have to settle for a piano in the parlor. My, that was good.
Sure was. Well, I'm sure glad that you enjoyed it. Well, why don't we mix a little business with pleasure? I have the water agreement here all ready to sign. You'd like to read it?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm sure that's in order, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, not so fast, dear. We did say I was going to handle the money.
I meant the household money.
I had all the money. Well, it's very obvious, Mr. Cartwright, that my husband's grandfather was very lenient with you.
What do you mean?
Now, honey, please.
Shh, darling. You know very well that you need that water desperately.
Oh, is that what you think, Mrs. Smith?
Oh, no, it's not what I think. It's what I know. Now, I figure a 25% increase per month to be added to the total until the 12-month period is ended.
Mrs. Smith, I think perhaps you ought to know that Mr. Crawford was by here yesterday. Mr. Crawford's a neighbor of ours. He owns the ranch about 20 miles away from here. He has a big, gushing stream of water running along his land, and he offered to supply us with all the water we could possibly need here, so maybe we'd just better forget about this contract completely.
Well, let's not be hasty now. A deal's a deal.
Well,
And there are your water rights, Mr. Cartwright. Say goodbye to the Cartwrights, honey, and thank Mr. Cartwright for his generous hospitality.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
nice to see you. Thank you for dropping by.
Bye.
Paul, Mr. Crawford offered you that water, sure enough.
Well, it seems to me I went by Crawford's place not too many days ago. I think it was last Wednesday, and that gushing, bubbling stream was dry as a bone.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, son. See, when you play poker with a gambler or with his wife, sometimes a bluff comes in mighty handy.